Today we're going to be talking about Turles. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is Raggy Rog, and yes, it's been a while since I made a video. I've probably uploaded a few older videos that were in the files ages ago, but whatever. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about Turles from Dragon Ball Z. Because I've got a few thoughts that I want to share about them. Kind of like how I always talk about different Pokemon and other random stuff, but it's Turles, this one from Dragon Ball Z, the OVA, who had like one appearance in a non-canon piece of media, the Tree of Might. So if you don't know, Turles is a doppelganger character of Goku, the original doppelganger of Goku, unless they did that at some point somewhere in Dragon Ball, which I don't know. If you haven't seen the movie, essentially it's a one-off set ambiguously before or after the Saiyan saga, in which Turles and a group of other bad people, essentially operating as like traditional Saiyans, space pirates, come down to Earth, they plant the Tree of Might, it grows fruit using all of the energy of Earth, which when you eat the fruit, it makes you really strong temporarily. It's kind of like a spirit bomb, I guess, because it uses the energy of everything else, but it also, like, you put the energy in yourself and, you know, like, ooh, bad guy. The crux is that it will kill the Earth or something like that. The Z Warriors show up, they try to kill the tree, and then they end up having to kill the tree by putting a Turles through it. That's not even made up. So ever since this OVA came out, there's always been like a lot of talk and disagreement over Turles' appearance. The fact that he looks identical to Goku is a point of contention for a lot of people. There's just widespread disagreement that he is a clone, that he is related to Goku, but the two most common explanations are thanks to the various dubs of the film, and that's where a lot of the disagreement comes from. In one of the dubs, Turles explains that amongst low-class Saiyans, genetic diversity is not great, so it's very common for a lot of Saiyans to just look identical, which I don't like that explanation because it's dumb. That just takes away the fact that he looks like Goku. Like that seems like it should be important, and it kind of is, because it creates scenes in the film where like Gohan is confused by this fighter who looks like his dad, and he has like second thoughts about fighting him, and whatever. The point I'm making there is that if his appearance is actually just a coincidence, then he could have looked like anything. So then there would have been no reason to make him identical to Goku, unless you hoped that having like an antagonist identical to the protag might have been better for drawing attention. I don't know. The other consensus that people like to run with is that Turles is essentially a what-if story, and what-if stories are covered kind of frequently in Dragon Ball. Pretty much like none of the OVAs from Dragon Ball Z are considered canon, and pretty much any new story route that happens in any of the games is also definitely not canon. It's really weird to think about like the volume of content in Dragon Ball Z that is not considered canon, or the fact that there is such a line between those concepts. But yes, so it is believed to be a what-if story about what Goku would have been had he not bonked his head and accidentally turned good. And I think that is a lot more interesting, and while it's completely unstated in the film, you kind of get that feel, because Turles does not actually have any other Saiyans on his team. It's just him and a bunch of other misfits, probably grabbed from all over the place, and that is likely what Kakarot would have done, provided he'd not become Goku. He is considered a low-class Saiyan, and he does have that identical appearance. Another very, very small piece of evidence for that is that his name is Turles, which, following the Saiyan naming convention, which is that they are all named after vegetables, Turles is named after turnip, which is a root vegetable, kind of like carrot, which is the inspiration for Goku's Saiyan name, so they're both root vegetables. And maybe it's a coincidence that they were both root vegetables, or named for them, but Raditz, who is Goku's brother, also a root vegetable. You know, it's just, there's something, I feel like there's something there. They were doing something. Overall, I actually really like Turles as a character. I think he's very interesting, and I feel like many of the characters, especially the villains seen in Dragon Ball Z, they could have done a lot more with him. Even in the games, like, I'm sure that there must have been a few like what if stories or just new plots involving Turles, and I cannot remember them. That is how little love he has gotten, and I think that's more because he just kind of faded off into obscurity. entirety. He was in an OVA that was featured before Vegeta was an integral part of the team. The Z Fighters were still like Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, and Goku. You know, it was like old days. So like for Turles to be introduced then, it's not great for his survivability as a character, I suppose. Something that I actually really begrudge about not Turles, but with the way that Turles was handled was that like the movie came out in, I think it was like 1990, so a long time ago now. And that movie, it claimed the doppelganger gimmick, like the Protag's doppelganger, Turles, made their first and pretty much only appearance in the series. Turles might appear once or twice more. Like there are episodes where, you know, it shows like all of the previously defeated bad guys in Heffel, I think they call it, Heck, whatever, in Otherworld, you know, but the consensus about those episodes, I'm pretty sure, is that most of them are also not canon. So who, like, what are we doing? The fact that Turles is a Saiyan and has had so little screen time, there's been so little dialogue about him in any capacity, the fact that he's considered not canon, it's a shame because they could have done a lot more. It'd be interesting to see if Vegeta knew of him, about him, knew him personally. Probably not. I don't know. It's just, I'm just saying there's stuff they could have done. But what I begrudge about the whole thing is that while the doppelganger gimmick was claimed, essentially, years later, Super's like, you know, I don't think we've ever done a doppelganger gimmick. And then they gave us Goku Black, which, like, there's contrived and then there's really contrived, right? You could argue that Turles as a character, a concept, whatever, is contrived because he is, for all intents and purposes, just a what-if story. He doesn't really have an explanation for where he comes from. There's not really any build-up to his appearance. He's not foreshadowed in any way. But then you've got Goku Black. The Goku Black story arc literally hinges on multiple dragon wishes, time travel, and actual divine intervention. It took pretty much the stars aligning for some kind of sense to be made of Goku Black, and it's still not actually literally Goku. You're going into this arc, if you're familiar with the character, you would assume that Goku Black might be a literal evil version of Goku. But spoiler alert, it is actually just Zamasu now inhabiting the body of Goku. So Goku Black is as much Goku as you or I are Goku. That is to say, we're not, and neither is he. And similar to the Turles thing, if we go with the first reason or rationale for why he looks the same as him, then like it could have been anyone. The first rationale we're given for why Turles looks the way he does is like, oh, well, it's a coincidence. It's just genetically, that's how the Saiyans are, which I don't believe. For Zamasu, it's like, yeah, he wished to inhabit the body of Goku, to trade bodies with him, but he could have made that wish about anyone. He could have wished to inhabit the body of just ambiguously of warrior stronger than Goku and then landed with who knows, Jiren. I don't know. Point is being identical to Goku didn't serve the plot. Literally, Zamasu's wish, because he wished 2 times, he wished to have an indestructible body. He could have then wished to just have 2 of himself. I want to be split into 2 identically strong beings. That would have been stronger than Goku, probably. With an indestructible body, yes. I'm not saying that the Goku Black arc was bad. It was, though. But the point is that it certainly doesn't earn itself any favors from me by being the quintessential doppelganger gimmick saga. But we already had Turles. You already started something. You could have done Turles. I think people would have responded better to a Turles plot, like, because they made Broly canon. Like, things are changing. They could have remade Turles to make more sense. We have multiple universes. We have multiple universes now. And like, this is well established by the time Goku Black is a thing. We're talking about time travel. We're talking about different universes. Turles could have literally just been Goku from one of the other universes. Just show up from universe 3. I don't know. Pick one, you know? And that would like... Immediately you have the best possible rationale for why and how Turles exists. He's just Goku from a universe where he never bumped his head. Whether or not anything like that happens, I don't know. I feel like Dragon Ball Super is slowly trying to bring back a lot of old elements. We got a bunch of new content featuring Broly. We're starting to see older, more forgotten characters like Raditz brought up in the manga. So it's like, it's only a matter of time before they are in actual canon episodes. Not that Raditz was ever not canon, but it is interesting to wonder if Turles will or will not join those ranks with characters reintroduced, reimagined, made new, and applied applicable. And another note I would like to put out there is if hypothetically we had just Turles made canon or just more media showing him off, I think it would be cool for there to be another new character who is like a what if doppelganger of Vegeta. And because I'm so creative, the idea is essentially that this version of Vegeta would be like they would have actually totally bonked their head or something. They would have acquired some injury or amnesiac effect, making them essentially forget who they are. And they are totally a good person. But, paralleling Vegeta's story, this character would be slowly turning into a bad guy because Vegeta's a good guy now. So there's a lot you could do with it. In any case, those are my general thoughts about Turles, and if I taught you today who that is, well then go me. If you already knew who that was, then good. If you liked this video, then make sure you give it a like and subscribe and do all of the things, because I haven't really been posting for actual literal years, and now I am again trying to. I'm busy, but I'm here. Show me that you're watching, and tell me what else you want to see. In any case, you all have a good one, Ragamuffins. I will see you next time.